If we could stand, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the April 30th, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. Currently serve as the chair of the commission. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, before we begin, I have been asked to defer item C1, the sheriff's item, until May the 3rd. That's this Thursday's agenda item. They needed some clarification for the contract. And then also on E1, it's the request for the improvements of 5 different items. Mr. Knight has asked for that item to be pulled, and he'll get with the commission about when he resets that item. He needed some clarify some of the figures and some of the maps for those. So E1 would be pulled with a date to be determined by Mr. Knight, and then C1 would be set over to the calendar for the 3rd. And that is a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passed 3-0. Now we're ready to begin with the first item.
First item is proclamation presentation. Number 1, presentation of plaque from the Community Thanksgiving Dinner Foundation for support of the annual Community Thanksgiving Dinner. Myron Johnson, President, Board of Directors.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if I should go over here or not, but I just will. Good morning to the commission and everyone in attendance. Appreciate it. I come here as on behalf of the Community Thanksgiving Dinner. A program has been in place for 50 years in the city of Topeka. I'm going to get through this without getting all welled up, but it's been a mainstay in our family for that long. My mother, who's here with me today, was one of the persons at the first dinner and has been there ever since. It has remained a nonprofit, has been run by the people in this city, various members throughout the years. And Addie Spicer, who's no longer with us, was instrumental in getting this started. Thanksgiving, George Washington made it the first national holiday in 1789. It was on November 26th. They celebrated Thanksgiving every year, and in 1968, Addie Spicer had the idea that she should be able to do the same thing for those people who not necessarily are in need of a meal, but would much rather not dine alone. And 10 years ago or so, we adopted that as our motto, that we would not. We became incorporated in 2005 as a nonprofit, 501, have had various presidents and chairmen and different people come on board. I'm going to keep this short. It's a testament to the city of Topeka and Shawnee County that for 50 years a dinner can be served to people who need it, non-politicized, nonpartisan, no arguments, no discussions, simply get together because there are people who would rather not sit at home in their apartment by themselves and eat. From what I understand, there was 12 people the first time. We now serve over 2,500 meals annually. 1,100 of those are dine-in. The rest are carried out to people who cannot get down there. We wish there were more, but throughout the history, the dinner has moved from TPAC, the underground building that was at the fairgrounds when I was a kid. Don't worry about how old I am. But the National Guard Armory. I won't quote the exact number of years, but I know it's more than 20 that the county commission, none of who were here now, where they've been. However, you're sitting in the chairs of some people who thought it was an awful good idea to help us keep this going. So we were able to move into the Kansas Ag Hall down at the Expo Center grounds. The support staff, no matter who's managing that place, has always been behind us. I see Kellum here today. They've always been gracious. Jane has helped us to make sure we're on the agenda and everybody's working with us. So we wanted to publicly thank the county commission the staff and the people who live in Shawnee County for everything they've done over the last 50 years, directly or indirectly. More directly in the last 20, the commission has made certain that there is a room and a place for us to start our dinner. So with that, I am going to thank everyone, and I am going to present this plaque, I suppose, to the chairman of the board as it is now, and then you can share that with the rest of them. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a honor to receive the plaque. Really, I think that the work that you all put into it, the work that's done down at the Ag Hall, not just for that day, but there's a lot of work that goes into leading up to that day. All the volunteer, the donations, the work, and we really appreciate everything you do for making our community really a community. And thank you. And thank you for all the hard work. And we look forward to many, many more years of the Thanksgiving at the Ag Hall and the Expo Center, and as it grows into a larger space. And so we continue to grow the program. So, Commissioners, anything?
Thank you. I'm not quite sure if my mother has a thing or two she may want to say. That's all at the discretion of the commission.
Ma'am, if you want to talk or say anything about the lunch.
It takes
Please.
me a little time to get up. Oh, I'm okay. You know, my only regret is I did it for 50 years. I don't have 50 more years to get to this dinner. But I'm not giving up. It's been a joy, and it's just beautiful to know how the city of Topeka has just pushed us in. Because I know that sometimes you could have just said, stop the Salvation Army or the rescue mission will feed them and let it go. But it's just a beautiful thing, and Mr. I has been one of my kids. He's been right there with us all the time. not that he's 91 you know, we started this dinner. I wasn't really starting the dinner, but the lady was one of my neighbors, and she needed help, so there I was. But the best part of it is to know that Topeka, the city, has just stuck behind us so close and just stayed right there with us. And of course, you know, we had to move several places before we could really get situated here at the Expo Center. But it's just been a beautiful thing. And now, since my kids are all grown, it's 10 of them, and I can get out and do things. I started with Let's Help in '69, and we just jumped around from one place to the other. Now I'm back at Let's Help doing lunch at the lunchroom, and there I'm running into people and say, well, I know you, you at the Expo Center, you do Thanksgiving dinner. And I said, well, I'm glad they remember. And I meet them again. But anyhow, I'd like to just thank you for just the help backing us up the way you did. And you're not tired of us. Because we are not through. I'm just dragging.
Wow.
So I'd like to say thank you again. And like I said, my only regret, I don't have 50 more years to give it, but I'm still going to be there. And thank you so much. I watch you on television all the time, and I said, well, I'll run into him. You know, Mayor McCormick was there when we got together with this, so thank you again.
Thank you very much.
And I hope we can do it again.
We look forward to many, many more years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Our next item?
Item 2, under proclamations presentation, a presentation regarding Recycle Coach, a solid waste collection schedule reminder service, Public Works Solid Waste.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. As mentioned, this is a solid waste item, and this is something that we've been working on for the past several months. teamed up with a company called Recycle Coach, and what this is essentially a trash and recycling collection service, a reminder service that our customers will be able to sign up for free of charge that will remind them of when their trash and recycling collection day is going to be each week. And we think it's a pretty neat service. We think it's going to help everyone remember when to bring their containers out to the curb, especially during holiday weeks when schedules get shifted, and also a reminder of special events and/or our household hazardous waste collection. So Stephanie Kuhlman is here with me. She's developed this PowerPoint for me to speak to, and she's going to be at the controls, but we will go through and show you how to get there and how to get signed up. I am signed up. We've been doing like a beta test with just Shawnee County personnel over the past couple of months to make sure that it's working like we want it to, and we believe we're at a point now we're going to go live to the public. So anyway, to get signed up, you would go to the Shawnee County Solid Waste website, which is on the county's website under Departments to Solid Waste. And if you can get past the photograph that's on there, there is the Get the Free Recycle Coach app. So you would click on there, and to view it, in order you have to set up what's called your collection zone. And when you sign up, one thing I do want to point out that people may not do, when you sign up, you have to sign up as Shawnee County, since we serve the whole county. You may have lots of folks may have a tendency to type in Topeka. It is not Topeka, it is Shawnee County. So when you get signed up, you're signing up for Shawnee County. You go in and you first have to enter your address. So if you enter your address, this is what the schedule will look like. You can go and view your schedule, and on there you can see the black that represents the trash containers when your trash collection is. So this person has Monday service, and then recycling, depending on your address, we'll put in the recycling containers, the blue ones, on the days that your recycling is to be picked up. And then the little red triangle on the 7th, that is the household hazardous waste collection event. So with that, if you want to export this calendar to your phone, go ahead and you can click on the export calendar, and it will put it on your phone. If you want to download it to a PDF so that you can print it off and put it on your refrigerator or wherever, you can also do that. You can do it by 1 month, 2 months, or 6 month time frames. So this is what the calendar would look like if you wanted to print it out. And there it tells you your set out time is 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when we ask everyone to have their containers out to the curb before 7 o'clock. Then if you click on the legend button, you can get more detail on either trash recycling or the HHW. So if you were to click on that, this just gives you a little bit more information as far as, placing your container with the lid facing the street. Make sure you've got 3-foot clearance. Have your carts out to collection point by 7 a.m. and how often the frequency is. In this case, for trash, it is weekly. And then you can do the same, like I said, for recycling and household hazardous waste. And if you want to set a reminder so you get notified each week, you can go ahead and do that. So if we were to click on the set reminder, oops, you click on that, and if you determine if you want the weekly summary for trash and recycling, or if there's a single event that you want information on, you click on that. So pick on weekly summary. You can get it through 3 different ways. You can get it through Twitter, you can get it through email, you can get it through text, or I think all 3. So you just got to enter in your mobile phone number and get a text message. And if you do that, you get to determine when you want to be reminded. So for instance, myself, I'm a Monday customer. I want to be reminded on Sundays at 7 p.m. And it just so happened, last night I got my text. And I was reminded that I have trash and recycling today, so I didn't get missed today. And I actually brought my containers in this morning already before I came to work. So anyway, but yeah, you just go and you just determine when you want to be reminded. So whatever day of the week and whatever time you want to be reminded, you can choose that. So you click on next step, and then you just got to verify that you are not a robot. This particular person wants to be reminded at 6 in the morning on Mondays. So when they get up, just all depends on when you want to be reminded. So then you click, says you're not a robot, and then you create the reminder, and then you will be set up to get the reminders. And then there is an app that you can download, like I said, to your phone. You can either go through our website, or there's also an app. You can download that, and I think it's just called Recycle Coach, and it's through the Apple Store or it's like Google Play. And I've done that too. I have it on my phone, so I went through Apple Store. I have an Apple phone. But that's another way of doing it. It's pretty slick. Is that it? And that is it. But I will tell you that it is pretty nice to get these reminders, because even as the director, I've had my containers out on the street on the wrong day before, and so it is easy to do, especially when it comes to holiday weeks. It'll really be helpful, and it'll also help the phone calls coming into our office during holiday weeks, because if there's anything that's a given besides death and taxes, is people will forget to put their containers out during a holiday week. So, but anyway, I would highly recommend it, and it's just a service free of charge to all our customers. It'll hopefully make the inconvenience of missing your collection less frequent. So, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Commissioner Bueller, any questions?
It's a great reminder for those kids who have chores as well,
Yes.
right? You could program in. I'm just thinking of different ways to apply it.
So, all
Thanks.
right,
This is great.
thank you.
Commissioner Archer, anything?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for putting that together, Tom, and for showing the public. This is a great addition to our solid waste collections.
Yeah.
Our next item,
Item 3, consent agenda.
is there any questions regarding the 4 items on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers are totaling $1,239,747.27. We have JADO coming out of that amount, $586,404.92. Past that is Health Insurance Administration, $193,783.61. Holding accounts, $160,236.17. And of note as well is County Councilor has a $9,345 amount in there for Security First Title. That is in preparation of tax sales. So they help us with that research. I have no questions. Move approval.
Motion made for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for the approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, planning. Number 1, consider approval of request to waive the frontage and access requirement of the zoning regulations for property located at 1420 Southwest Hodges Road.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. Craig and Crystal Campbell own an undeveloped 6.5-acre tract of land at 1420 Southwest Hodges Road, and it is their desire to construct a single-family dwelling on the property. However, due to severe grade change across the frontage of their property on Hodges Road, they are seeking an access waiver through a provision of the zoning regulations to allow them to access their property through their neighbor's property immediately to the north. The zoning regulations contain a stipulation which indicates that no lot shall be accessed except through its required frontage, street frontage, and no portion of the driveway extending between the street and principal building shall extend beyond the boundaries of the property. The Campbells contend in this particular case that the topographical difference between Hodges Road and their property does not allow for a driveway to be constructed that would be financially feasible. The Planning Department and Public Works have looked at this situation to find that the property does rise sharply by more than 30 feet from Hodges Road across its frontage. And due to this physical condition, the applicant is seeking the waiver to utilize their neighbor's driveway, which is immediately north of their property. The same provision that requires frontage and access also contains a provision where it says that any person who suffers an undue burden or hardship as a result of this requirement may apply to the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners for a waiver. However, waivers shall not be granted, or shall be granted only in cases where there is no possibility of access to the parcel through the frontage on a public street as required herein. Again, because of the severe grade change across the frontage of the applicant's property on Hodges Road, we contend that this condition has been met, and therefore we are recommending that the access waiver be approved, subject to access being provided through the McDowell tract, which is the parcel immediately north of the applicant's property, using their existing entrance and private drive, and then also that they continue to abide by the driveway access easement agreement that was negotiated between the two property owners, which provides a perpetual easement for the benefit of the Campbells to access their property through the McDowell tract. So with that, that concludes my comments with regard to the proposal.
Any questions for Mr. Beagle?
I do have a question.
Yes, Commissioner
On
Mueller.
that easement and that agreement, then who has maintenance of that driveway?
Well, according to the language of the easement agreement, there is a financial cost that would be borne by the Campbells. However, there is also subsequent material, too, that indicates it's a shared financial arrangement. So it's built into the easement agreement, which is something we always like to see, so that way they don't just grant an easement and they walk away assuming each other's going to do it. It already has a built-in mechanism for doing that.
Okay, all right. Well, that's important for other property owners who may acquire
Absolutely.
these properties. Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Are there any comments from the public, from Mission Township, the Campbells, or any other persons wanting to speak for or against this item?
I'll move to approve the request.
There's a motion to approve the request by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B2, consider approval of request to accept the final plat for Pleasant Hill Subdivision Number 3, located at 6016 Northeast Olympia Street and 340 Northeast Terrace in, Northeast 60th Terrace in Soldier Township.
Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. This concerns two adjoining tracts of land, one located at 1616 Northeast Olympia Street and the other at 340 Northeast 60th Terrace. They're wanting to do the replat to create this two-lot subdivision in order to effect a land swap, essentially, between the two parcels. They would both receive equal shares of each other's property of about 6/10 of an acre, and it would meet their own individual needs this way. The plat appeared before the Planning Commission on February 12th, was unanimously recommended for approval, and the plat is presented to the County Commission for acceptance of public dedications.
Any questions for Mr. Beagle regarding this item?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made to approve by Commissioner Archer and second by Commissioner Bueller. Before we take any vote, is there any member of the public that wanted to speak on this item? All right. Seeing none. Motion's made by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you very much. Our next item.
Item C, Sheriff's Office, has been deferred to Thursday. Item D, Appraiser, number 1, consider approval of request to promote an Appraiser 1 to an Appraiser 2 position with an annual salary, including benefits, of $58,892.72, with funding from the 2018 Appraiser's budget.
Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Bauman, County Appraiser. As you may recall, during prior budget meetings, I had a plan in place to, it's kind of a succession plan to promote Appraiser 1s to Appraiser 2s with achieving a registered mass appraisal designation and other requirements. We've had an appraiser in our office, Monica Mikowski, that was able to go through the stringent requirements and obtain this registered mass appraisal designation. And as such, I'm asking for approval to promote her to an Appraiser 2 position. This increases the professionalism of our office, and we will also load her down with a little additional work and some more difficult properties. Also, in conjunction with that, she'll be training some new employees, for which we will have some we're going to have one of our longtime appraisers retire at the end of June, I believe. So this will come into play very quickly. I've discussed this with Angela Lewis, Director of HR, and she's in support of it, and also cleared it with Betty Greiner. So this is something we have planned for. There are sufficient funds in our 2018 budget. Be happy to try and answer any questions.
Any questions regarding this? Commissioner Archer?
How many RMAs do you have in the office now, Steve? I didn't want it to be a difficult question.
We have 7, I believe.
7, okay.
5 appraiser ones that do not have an RMA. So we have 2 that are currently in striking distance, 2 additional appraisers that are currently in striking distance. And this registered mass appraisal designation is something that is required to become a county appraiser.
Right.
So if we can move these people towards that goal, you'll have a better pool to pick from once people start retiring.
Yeah, and I applaud your emphasis on education in the appraiser's office, because it is very important that we stay up to date. And I'll move to approve the request.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation items have been pulled until a later date. Item F, Public Works Solid Waste, Tom Block. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for qualifications for professional design services for the Southwest 37th Bridge over a tributary to Shunganugga Creek project with funding from the 2018-2019 Public Works Special Bridge account or other accounts as necessary.
Commissioners, Tom Block, once again, Public Works and Solid Waste. As mentioned, this is the Public Works item, and there is the bridge on, we have a bridge on Southwest 37th Street, which is about 3/4 of a mile east of Auburn Road. That is in our latest, most recent annual bridge inspection. It is determined to be structurally deficient and has a low rating of 23.7, which means it is time to be replaced. So we are just requesting that we are able to go out, request for proposals to have design services to replace that bridge be conducted. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions regarding this? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item G, Elections. Number 1, consider approval to issue a request for qualifications for election ballot services and printing for the 2018-2019 election cycle.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. What we've done here is very much similar to what we've done in the past. We're putting together a bid for the ballots that will be needed for the 2018 election cycle. The one thing that I think is significantly different is we're actually much more focused on the security issues around the ballots and the ballot process. Most of the actual issues that we have with that process are contained in here, and a lot of it really is about communicating clearly with your vendors and making sure that they have good protocols and processes in place. Additionally, I think we've noted in here that chain of custody, strict adherence to timeframes, security measures, and other things are an important part of this process. So like I said, we've tried to take into consideration what the Department of Homeland Security has said about ballot security. As you know, the Shawnee County Election Office has new equipment. The software costs are significantly different, and actually the paper costs are somewhat different as well than we've seen in the past, because all of our ballots are now paper. So that has put a little additional complexity into that process. So in 17 and 18, I think you'll see the numbers will be a little bit different, but probably not a lot different. If you've got any specific questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those, but that's kind of the thinking behind this approach as we look at purchasing ballots for the 18 election.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Actually, I do have a question.
Commissioner Bueller.
Andrew, can you tell me estimated cost? I mean, I know we're going out for qualifications and all that, but...
I actually don't think we're going to see a significant change as a result of the change in the way we're doing this. I expect the numbers to be very much what we've put in our budget and our assumptions. I don't know that I know the exact
Can you-
number. I mean, I can tell you what we spent last year on this, if that's helpful.
Sure.
In 2016, I think we spent, in the primary, it was $34,000, and then for those ballots in the general election, it was $25,000. So that's the nearest year that would be somewhat similar.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we won't know until we have all of our
Sure.
ballots in.
Sure.
It's actually a pretty complex formula if you,
But that's just
if you look, yeah, it's kind of an estimate. And it also makes a big, in 2012, we actually had 2 different ballots. So our cost was almost double. So it can change a lot in a hurry. Additionally, if you look at the back of a ballot, our new paper ballots have a different back than they used to have. So in some cases, we actually have to have multiple styles. So it's very difficult to estimate really up down to the penny what it's going to take, because it changes depending, if we have 10 governor's candidates and we have 6 people in the Republican primary running for Congress, we're going to have a long ballot, which is going to add additional complexity and cost to that ballot. So a lot of it's driven by how many people file, how many people actually end up filing and running, and the different kinds of ballot styles, the different precinct numbers, and those are up just a little bit. Ballot questions, we would not be surprised to see a ballot question or two, which again adds to the length and to the additional back page complexity.
Okay, thank you.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G2, consider approval of request, or to issue a request for qualification for election equipment moving and delivery service for the 2018-2019 election cycle.
Very similar situation here. We're actually approaching our equipment moving and delivery with more of a services model where we have a clear communication with the vendors about what we expect, the security protocols and processes that are going to be used in both delivering the equipment itself out to the polling place as well as bringing it back to the election place. Again, I think very similar thing here. We don't expect a major increase of cost, but we think it's very important based on the security issues around election that we address these issues with any potential vendor and that they're aware of our expectations. Be happy to answer any further questions on that.
Can you talk to us just for a moment about how this contract differs from what we do right now, what changes we're looking at, and if there is a cost anticipated change, kind of where we're seeing that? Where's our money going?
Well, a couple of things come to mind. One, we have 5 or 6 different trucks that deliver over the course of a couple of days. We think it's important that we know the name of every driver, that we're very clear with each of them what specific building they deliver to, and then we have processes in place to make sure that the right equipment actually made it to the correct polling place. Same thing on the return of equipment. It is very important that that equipment is returned to the correct place and we know exactly who did it. So we're just tightening up some of those procedures and processes, a little bit of the paperwork side, as well as being clear with the vendors what we expect so that they're not surprised by additional requirements that we have. So we're kind of increasing some of the actual language that we have them sign, additional forms and requirements related to who's doing the work, and just some extra clarity as to exactly what's expected.
How does this relate or correlate with what other counties do? Is this very similar to what we see in Douglas County, or is it something completely rogue and maverick?
I can assure you it's not rogue and maverick. I can assure you that the Department of Homeland Security has made it a point to say that we need to look very closely at these kinds of processes. And I would also note that actually our particular process is modeled very much after what Johnson County has done. We follow fairly closely the model they use because we think it allows us to do a better job of delivering results on election night. So we've changed some of those processes a little bit, but I think they're very similar to what you see in Johnson County. I think Sedgwick County is moving to a very similar model due to some problems they've had as well. So it's certainly not a surprise or different than what you see in other locations.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller for approval,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next item.
Let's see, item 5, administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public or department head to address the commission on any interest of information or other.
I have some information.
All right.
Or other. Bill Kroll, Director of Facilities. Wanted to take this opportunity to thank two departments who have assisted the Facilities Department on a couple of items. First department I'd like to recognize is IT. They developed an in-house preventative maintenance software program and a corrective software program that we're going to start utilizing that will result in a savings of about $8,000 a year over what we have been doing on the open market. And the second department I'd like to recognize is Tom Block in Public Works. The emergency escape hatch to the Emergency Operations Center, when we were doing that parking lot, we got a change order to get that corrected at a cost exceeding $21,000. We went out for bid after we rejected that and got one bid back at $13,000. Tom Vlock in the Public Works Department, his bridge crew, put that thing in for less than $3,000. So we're saving the taxpayers some money, and I wanted to thank those two departments for helping me do that. They deserve a lot of recognition for that. And that cross department lines without any problems at all. They're great guys. Give them both a raise.
Thank you very much for that. Tom, thank you for you and your
Yes.
crew doing that. And again, saving the taxpayers some money, being able to get out of our silos and really work towards a team solution.
Commissioner Townlock, this is not the reason I'm staying up. I have another item I want to talk about, but if Bill could be in my performance review, I'd really appreciate it. But no, what I do want to talk about is, as you're aware, we had our waste tire collection event this past Saturday. The weather was beautiful, and the people apparently felt like getting rid of tires because we had a really successful event. We had 602 participants, and we collected 2,514 tires. So it was really a really successful event. So anyway, I just thought I'd pass that on, that we are very pleased with the results.
Very good.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's good to know that that's tires that are being safely disposed of.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectrum Vending Management at the Kansas Expo Center. I want to remind everyone, coming up this Saturday, we have Kids Fest from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That's Saturday, May 5th. And then a couple weeks of good, fun, exciting announcements coming up here for the Kansas Expo Center. We have a family show we will announce next week, and then we have a concert we will announce the week after that. So looking forward to getting those on the books and getting some excitement around our community supporting those.
Thank you. Any other members of the public or department heads wanting to address the commission? Commissioner Bueller, anything?
I do not have anything today, thank you.
Commissioner Archer, anything?
Yeah, briefly, Commissioner Cook and I had the honor of serving at the pancake feed at the Combat Air Museum on Saturday morning, and Commissioner Cook was flipping pancakes and also cooking sausage at the same time. It was very impressive. I never knew a lawyer could be so ambidextrous. That's it. Thank you.
Yes. Well, it was good to go out and support the public, and for that community breakfast for the Combat Air Museum, they really a great attribute to our society, our community. It's a good draw and just a good opportunity to get out and be out in the public. And so there's a lot going on. We did the ribbon cutting at the Boys and Girls Club on Friday afternoon. Beautiful. You couldn't have forecasted a better day for that ribbon cutting. But over $200,000 was donated towards the renovation of the bottom floor of the Boys and Girls Club. And that's really our community, from Lowe's, all of our corporate sponsors, the credit unions, tech area for the kids. It's just really great, and just see all the public coming together for that.
Good deal.
So, I don't have anything additional. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is not a need for an executive session today, so we are adjourned.